It's 12 on the 18th of June 2023, and I'm uploading for the interest of those that are enjoying lovely, fresh, clean drinking water as a consequence of my humanitarian and spiritual purpose in society as a royal mother and as a property owner of fabulous property that is being subjected to trespass and fraud, and as a consequence is highly unsafe for people to be walking on. It's really, I suppose, a delusion these people are suffering from. I don't know whether they're taking, I don't know what kind of intake of substance they have used, but my God, there are people deluded with regard to where they are trespassing and taking from. They have the benefit of clean drinking water, they have the benefit of social reform, and there are individuals that consider themselves in a position of leadership. I received job seekers allowance due to individuals slandering the doors of education and lowering the standards of education, and just bringing education into disrepute. These culprits in this county since 2006 have been spreading ignorance and filth and dirty in society, and they've done nothing to educate the young of any good, proper etiquette or behaviour or conduct. So now the counties, after being mortified with regard to my contributions to the classroom being slandered by incompetent adults that are really officially considered ASBOs, that suffer from mental illness, that think they're coming onto people's property and family lives with their dirt and their filth while drinking clean water as a consequence of my humanitarian contributions that are of academic fraud, are subjected to academic fraud. So it's not safe for these people to be accommodated. They've already risked people's safety in society. They're not safe for children's safety. That's a fact. They're not fit for the classroom, they're not fit for education, and they're not fit to be espousing any ideology that is of hate crime or farm fraud or anything of the sort, you know. So I'm tolerating quite an extensive amount of ASBO conduct that culminates as crimes against the Constitution. It's not considered treason, it's basic crime against the Constitution of my forefathers. So this documentary, I hope, is helping people understand the context of education in this entire situation, how people aren't learning in County Kerry for the past 20 years, since 2006, since they started their bad mouthing and their slandering. They're still dodging and ducking, and they're still on a dirty pitch, and now they want to make my farms their dirty pitch as well, with more of their dirty practices. So I'm mortified for them, really, to be quite honest about it, and I hope Nato is aware of how dangerous it is for me to be tolerating anything that is of denigration to accommodate filth in society when there is clean drinking water as a consequence of me. There is a huge amount of contribution I've been making, and that has been of a two-decade portfolio. There are mental health practitioners that seem to disregard the line of protocol and proximity and privacy. There are people that aren't blood relatives of mine thinking they're going to be discussing my farmland of my ancestors with the past 300 years. I don't know if people know how unsafe that makes them. People that are coveting from my ancestral land, my marital land, with my child upset without the care of me to provide to him what he needs and what he wants, as a mother should and does and is obligated to. These people that are getting in the way because of their spitefulness, their malicious, disgusting, debased mentalities. It's the most disgusting conduct. I don't know how anyone can interact with anyone conducting hate crime against a mother and child. It's so embarrassing. It's just the lowest form of humanity. And these culprits have no shame whatsoever supporting prostitution, sex industry workers, whatever, and then disregarding the role of the family unit. It's absolutely disgusting. So they've got very short memories. They've got very dirty deaths. They seem to be making themselves cozy in this initiative initiative supporting hate crime and crimes against the Constitution. But unfortunately, I don't know if they know the extent of how huge the contributions I've been making to society is, and how dangerous it is to disregard or disrespect or slander or defame them, or to misappropriate them, or to miscredit them to anybody that has done nothing but be an ASBO against my humanitarian contributions. So hopefully they might see sanity and sense, and they might be able to be more careful about who they're insulting. As I've said, anyone that isn't a blood relative that thinks they're coming onto my farm property, oh dear God, I can't say how concerned I am for people's safety. If the Garda Síochána are supporting a child missing from his mother, a beautiful child I gave birth to, every mother considers their child precious. That's our inherent, innate quality when we give life. But when we save people's lives and people are being ignorant, thinking they're playing on a stage, making a mockery of Shakespeare's values for the arts, and after they being of sham and disgrace already in the arts, I think it might be just so sensible for some people to just sit back and just be quiet and do nothing besides criticising a person that has been contributing and experiencing, and that has been entitled. I am entitled, I have contributed, and I have experienced inside the classroom, outside the classroom. I have taught a wide range and wide variety of age groups without any ASBO consequences to any of my interactions. Every fabulous experience I've had inside and out of the classroom has been only fortuitous and fabulous. But there are people that are only dirtying this country with the most disgusting behaviour. They have nothing to say but defamation and slander and false reporting, and they are deluded with their dirty debts. They feel very comfortable spending other people's money, but I don't know if they understand how I feel about being a royal experiencing their filth in this country. I am with 6 jurisdictions, and I don't know if this little community in County Kerry understands how dangerous it is to be challenging royalty and to be living off my money, to be going near my farms with my child out of my care because of pests and nuisances, false reporting with the Tusa Child and Family Agency and the Legal Aid Board, no less. The Legal Aid Board, oh my goodness, gee, there was so much trouble caused there as well. The Legal Aid Board, the bodies of the state were really highly damaged, and they're still being damaged. It's really dangerous what's happening in this country. There are idiocies and neuroses mixing up, and that's highly intelligent and low intelligent coming together and then getting all confused. These people just are very, very unwell in their conduct and behaviour. So if NATO is aware of how lockdown happened. Lockdown came about as a consequence of my experiences, strengths and hopes. I would like NATO to contact me immediately. I'm putting my details up on my page. There are people on my street where there are no people, persons or bodies meant to be. They are deluded about where they are at the moment. These repeat offenders against the legislation and constitution are absolutely deluded about where they are trespassing and walking. They are not making themselves safe. They are not within the law. They are not within remit. They are not welcome in my proximity. They are not observing royal protocol. They are not entitled to my farmland with fraud and filth and living safely. They are not entitled to my child with unlawful care orders. So if NATO would please, for the best interest of the country, lockdown happened as a consequence of my experiences, strengths and hopes. To this day in 2023, these ASBOs think they are reformed and that they have repaired their boo-boos from the past. They have not repaired the boo-boos of the past. They are enjoying the clean drinking water from my humanitarian contributions to society that are being subjected to academic fraud. Now, they have polluted and contaminated the society that we are presently enjoying. And there are people on a street where there are not meant to be any passers-by that have debt owing or repeat offences conducted against me. I have proximity rights, protocol rights and privacy rights. People passing by where they have caused damage, disrespect or debts owing unmet are committing crimes. Now, if the Garda Síochána are working with the criminals, we've seen what has happened to the Garda Síochána already. Now, I doubt highly that Garda Síochána would want any repeat occurrence to happen to them as what has happened already because of dirty politicians out in the southwest of Ireland deciding that they're going to control the situation and take credit where they have no credit earned at all. So they're deluding themselves highly, hiding out back west in County Kerry, enjoying all that fresh air, getting too much, I'd say, air into their heads, losing themselves and going up into the clouds. Lost in reality, I would say. Those out in the west of Kerry would want to be very careful about their obligations to my royal protocol, and they'd want to be careful not to put their children's lives at risk, defaming my good name or withholding my child illegally. Nato, there are ASPOs I am contending with that have been living off what they have no entitlement to be living off at all. It's absolutely disgraceful what's going on in this country. Financial racketeering, contamination of society. We've had to have lockdown. And that happened as a consequence of my contributions to society. So if Nato would not find it too difficult, I would be forever grateful. It would save people so many casualties. Kerry University Hospital, for instance, have no right to be in and around my proximity. Kerry University Hospital have done damages irrevocable to a character that they have no right to be discussing. So Kerry University Hospital really need to be careful as well, because muddied waters and clean drinking water and still waters running deep, I can't be more profound than that. So if Kerry University Hospital has regard for everybody's bloodstreams, I'd advise everyone to be really careful about causing me offence when they owe me very dangerous debts, and that's not just monetary. So there are obligations that are waiting to be fulfilled, and there are ASBOs mentally disturbed, throwing in their tuppence worth of trash into a society that I have recovered single-handedly as a consequence of my 2 decades of advocacy that is being frauded by politicians taking credit for work that they are joyriding on and piggybacking on. These people are jumping on my professional portfolio and taking credit for work that they are not single-handedly responsible for. There are people taking credit for my credentials, my accomplishments and my achievements and my advocacy with fellowships. These people haven't done 25 years like I've done 25 years. So it's very unsafe for people to insult my contributions to the state. It's very unsafe for people to be blaspheming against my faith. And it's very unsafe to be offending the land of my family. So I hope that any authorities that have already seen the consequence of their actions might be so much more careful about where they have problems caused to people's prosperity. As long as I'm being offended, and as long as people are drinking clean water and walking safe and alive, people's lives have been saved as a consequence. As long as the offences continue, then I hate to tell you that there's a discrepancy with reality and the fantasy and delusions of people owing so much and not paying up, cleaning up, or stepping up. So anyone that's not a blood relative, if your name's not Garrod McElligott, born on the 14th of the 10th, 2015, please have no expectations of my farm holdings in Ardfert and Kilflane.